Well, today I'm on a scouting trip. So it's one of my days off in Istanbul, but today's mission is figure out what's going on with the Bosphorus Strait here. So I've been dreading this part ever since I started planning the trip. 2 years ago even. I knew this was going to be the spot, which was going to be the hardest to get over. And so I've been looking at the maps even more intensely over the past couple of months, and I came to the conclusion this is the best place to do it. This bridge right here. This is the Fatih Mohammed Bridge or whatever. It's a little bit more out of the city center. It's, well, you can see it's still got, interstate-sized traffic, but it's a shorter bridge than the other. There are only two bridges that cross the Bosphorus. There's this one, and then there's another like big-ass bridge right in downtown, which is like twice as long as this one. So I don't think that's a real possibility. But this scouting trip has honestly not been so great, because this is the best view I've got of the bridge so far. And I mean, you can see even here, you got double fence. There's a guy up in that little kiosk up there. I saw him moving around a minute ago. Since I've been standing here for the past 5 minutes, there's been 3 cop cars that have come on this little road right here. All to say, I'm more or less 100% guaranteed that if I cross this bridge, I will get pulled over. It's just, there's no doubt, absolutely no doubt. Because there's this guy right here on the way over. I was looking at another spot. There's another like cop car with this like all sorts of like camera gear and shit, so it's not looking good. And I really don't know if I can get over this bridge, because what I feel what's going to happen is if I try is that I'm going to get pulled over, and that's almost completely 100% sure. But then the idea here is if I get pulled over and I still make it across the bridge, that's great. But I feel like I'm going to get pulled over before I even get to this guard tower, because the only way to really access the bridge is to go through the toll booth. And when you go through the toll booth, obviously somebody's going to see you immediately. So it's really kind of not the most optimal situation here. I've been talking to people at the hostel for the past couple of nights and been bouncing ideas around. I've got some interesting other alternatives. I could try to swim across, but it's pretty far. And the problem with swimming, as well as with anything else that's going to require me to touch the water, is that the current's pretty nasty. So swimming's probably out. Also, there's just huge barges that come through. I mean, it's just like, it's a huge strait, and it's the only entrance really to the Black Sea. So you get all sorts of craft coming through here. And so swimming's out. I was thinking like a kayak or something, but first of all, it's almost impossible to rent kayaks. Because like, who the hell would want to rent a kayak in the middle of Istanbul? And that's illegal. It's illegal to have a non-motorized boat that you take across the Bosphorus Strait. I actually had a friend that I met at the hostel. He was nice enough to call the police station for me, and he talked to them in great detail, trying to figure out if there's like any angle I could take, trying to go over the bridge at night, if I could do that, if I could go over the bridge with a police escort, if I could go over the bridge taking this little like emergency service route. And the police just basically told him, no, there's no way you can do it, absolutely not. And he even asked about swimming across, kayaking across, and they're like, nah, absolutely, definitely no way. So that's out. I was thinking one of the more creative ideas somebody had was I could scuba dive, and that might work all right. I think I'd probably avoid detection, and I'd be able to stay down. But first of all, I had to rent scuba gear, which is probably just as hard, if not harder, than renting a kayak in the middle of downtown Istanbul. And also, I was talking a couple of weeks ago to somebody who scubaed across a big river, and he said it was like a near-death experience. It was like one of the scariest things he's ever done in his life. He would just totally like never do it again. And I don't know exactly where he was exactly. He did tell me, I think the Danube, but it was in Serbia. Anyway, but I mean, this is huge. And it's not just a river, it's a strait, and the current is gnarly. And it actually is going both ways, because on the top, the surface is going south, but then when you get farther down into the water, the current is going north. So I can only imagine how nasty it would be to be scuba diving like down there and having the current pulling you both ways, and it just doesn't not really sound like an option. So that's all to say, I'm not really sure if I can get over the Bosphorus Strait. I just really don't know. I've taken a lot of different angles on this. I've had the police called and asked them in detail, or through the friend that speaks Turkish. I mean, I'm out here on the scouting mission. It's looking pretty bleak. Getting across on my own power with a boat or swimming or diving really does not sound like it's worth it. The only thing I could do is try to get pulled over. I mean, it seems like the best option I have right now. You can hear the police over there. They're pulling somebody over right now. I don't even know what's going on. But anyway, best option, the possible best scenario I feel right now would be that I get over the bridge and I get pulled over, but the cop doesn't like completely stop me until I completely cross the bridge and have the chance to exit off the off-ramp. And I think the chances of that are like almost zero. And then if that does happen, I don't know exactly what's going to happen in terms of punishment. He could let me go with a warning, but I've heard that it's a 128 lira penalty for crossing the bridge illegally, which isn't that bad. It's only a little bit over 60 bucks, but I could be arrested as well. And if I'm arrested, that could jeopardize my chances of getting into graduate school. And so I really have to weigh the benefits and the disadvantages, and that's the best case scenario too. So I really don't know. I got to do some thinking on this one, but to be completely honest, it's really looking like I'm not going to be crossing the Bosphorus Strait on my own power. Now, this is not against the rules. I just want to emphasize that, completely underscore, this is not against the rules, because I have been looking into this for the past couple of months. I'm here at the bridge checking it out myself. You know, I had people call the police. I've done everything I can, and I really just don't think I can get over the bridge, and I can't do anything else. And also, on top of that, I have officially crossed Europe. I got to the banks of the strait, which is the beginning of Europe. And Asia doesn't start until you get on the other side of the strait. So crossing the strait, it's not really part of Europe, it's not really part of Asia, so I'm gonna be able to justify it like that, I think. Anyway, I'm gonna give it a little more thought, see if there's any other angles I can pull. But yeah, it's looking pretty nasty right now. And I really think I'm gonna have to take a ferry. Anyway, later.